Can you skip some questions and still score 79 plus? How to remember long audio lectures? Should it talk like a native speaker? Which grammar topics should you focus on? In this super helpful lecture video, I will share with you 21 tips and tricks to get a high score. Each of these tips and tricks have been tested by my team and is known to work, so you can use them confidently. Let me ask you, what is your target PTE score? Write it in the comments. These tips and tricks will take you closer to your target score. Shall we begin? Alright, just one more thing before we start. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video so others also get to see it, and do check out the video description. You will find a link to free course trial, mock tests, and a lot more on our website, risepte.com. Let's start with the first. Number 1. Speak fast but be careful. Take care of these things. Majority of students who get a low score in PTE get it due to the speaking section. Speaking is most challenging for those of us who are not native speakers. So my very first tip for you is speak faster. That is better than speaking at a slow or even your normal pace. But, and this is important, don't speak so fast that you end up making mistakes. Speaking faster can improve your fluency score and your pronunciation in many cases. But if you try to speak too fast and speak in a way that is not clear or full of mistakes, then you will see no benefits. So, take a few read aloud sentences. Speak them at different speeds and record yourself. Then play them to a friend or your tutor. They will tell you which is clearer, in which you sound more confident. That is the speed you should stick to. Number 2. Don't spend too much time on grammar. Just learn these basic things. Who likes grammar? No one I know. But unfortunately, it is very important in an English language exam. Thankfully, PTE is not a normal English language exam. As long as you can give the computer what it needs, you can get a high score. So you don't need to spend days brushing up your grammar. Just make sure you revise the basic topics. Part of speech and how to form complex sentences are two main things that you must learn. Number 3. Don't miss anything. Don't skip anything at all. I know you have seen many videos and even heard from friends that you can skip this or that question type and still end up getting a 79 plus score. Well, let me tell you, all of that is nonsense. PTE is a serious exam for a very serious purpose created by a billion-dollar education company. They have state-of-the-art AI technology. Each question is developed by experts in the English language. So, everything is important. Don't waste your mental energy on doing useless calculations. Instead, try to do your best in each and every question type. As you probably know, PTE tests your skills in an integrated manner. That is, multiple language skills are tested in question. So you don't really know what you are losing by skipping a question. Also, Pearson only published a scoring guideline. They don't share or disclose the weightage they give to each question type. So don't risk your exam fee and precious time by listening to so-called experts. Put in some effort. Focus on all question types. Try to do your best in each one of them. Number 4. Do not mimic native speakers. You will lose marks. When you are not a native speaker, it is common to think that the best pronunciations is that of a native speaker. But when you try to speak like a native speaker, you end up sounding artificial. You fail to make an impact by emphasis and intonation. What is more important is to speak in a more or less neutral accent. It doesn't matter if you have an Indian accent or a South African accent. As long as an average English speaker can understand you, you will do just fine. Furthermore, it is a waste of time and energy to try to change your accent quickly. Accents develop over a lifetime. You have been speaking in a certain way for 25, 30, or 40 years, and now you can't suddenly change that in a week or in a month. So instead, focus on what you can control. Try to speak well. Try to speak correctly in a way that most people are able to understand you. Number 5. Focus on accuracy. Understand what accuracy is. This tip is especially relevant to the speaking and writing sections. Some people will tell you that in speaking, if you speak fast and confidently, it doesn't matter what you say. They will also tell you tricks to write quick summaries and essays. The problem is, this is not how PTE calculates your score. The very first thing that you're scored on is accuracy of your response. If the image is about recycling, but your answer is about climate change, it will not matter which template you use or how fast or confidently you speak. So please, pay attention, learn proper methods, and try to frame accurate answers. Number 6. Don't be lazy or careless. Pay attention to small things. A lot of students ask us, does it matter if I use a, an, or the in a short answer question? Or does it matter if I use capital letters or not? My answer is yes, it matters. Small things make a difference. Punctuation marks, use of uppercase, lowercase, paragraph structures. In fact, PTE has clear guidelines on some things such as the use of uppercase. For example, if your written response is entirely in uppercase letters, you will receive a 0 score. Therefore, don't ignore these small things. Number 7. How many words to write? Don't write too much. In the writing section, you will have a word limit, a maximum number of words you must write and no more than that. This doesn't mean that writing as close to the upper limit will get you the highest score. In fact, many people end up making silly mistakes while trying to meet the upper limit. Your goals should be too precise and accurate. For summaries, we recommend writing midway. So, in summarize written text, it is best to aim for somewhere around 25 to 30 words. Too many words usually mean you have written about something that is not really so important to the answer. And secondly, it increases the chances of errors in your answers. Similarly, even though the upper limit for words in essay is 300, you don't need to write 300 or even 280. The sweet spot is around 240. Write just enough to give a complete answer, not so much that you end up making silly mistakes. Number 8. Quick way to improve your vocabulary. Review the word list. It is surprising that so many people look around for repeated exam questions, but hardly anyone takes the time to review the academic word list. Academic word list contains the words that are most used in the academic field. These are the kind of words you must have in your vocabulary. The lists are freely available, so why not go through them? Learn the word, learn the meaning of the word, learn the pronunciation. That's it. Number 9. Immerse yourself in an English environment. Here is how to do it. As much as possible, immerse yourself in an English-speaking environment. Some of you are already in a country like Australia or New Zealand, and you get many opportunities every day to speak in English and to listen to other native speakers talk in English. Make use of every such opportunity. Do not hesitate, do not hold back, do not be shy. If you are not in an English-speaking country, then you can still immerse yourself by creating your own English environment. How to do it? It is very simple. Find some academic lectures or interviews on YouTube. Play them and close your eyes and try to follow what you are hearing. Try to create a picture in your mind as you hear. Once the video lecture ends, try to summarize in a few lines what you have heard. Summarize it in English. Try to repeat whatever you can remember from the lecture. Do this a few times in a day. In this exercise, it is more important to be consistent and regular than to do it for a long time. 30 minutes twice a day is good enough, instead of 2 hours on one day and nothing for the next 7 days. Number 10. Do not complicate things. Keep your answers simple. Do not forget that at the end of the day, this is an exam of your English language. This is not a test of your critical thinking or logical reasoning. So don't think too hard to come up with a super smart answer. If you are describing an image, focus first on what is in front of you. If you can speak that information properly and in a structured manner, that will be good enough. Once you are confident you can do that only, then try to think of smart conclusions and insights. Similarly, in questions like answer short question, just speak what comes to your mind. Don't think too much. Number 11. Do not confuse summaries with lectures. They are very different. In PTE, you have 3 questions that can seem similar. These are: summarize written text, summarize spoken text, and retell lecture. I have seen many people handle these questions the same way. In the lecture question, it is okay to start with, in this lecture, but if you do the same in your summary answers, such as, in this text, it completely ruins your summary. A summary is a standalone text form of a long text. Someone reading a summary probably doesn't even know that a longer version of this text appears. Therefore, never start your summary answers with, in this text, etc. Instead, directly write about the key point. Next, follow proper academic structure. Quickly boost your score. Let me ask you one fundamental question. What makes normal English different from academic English? The answer is structure. And PTE is a test of your academic language. The type of language you may use in university or in seminars or when writing reports at work. Therefore, learn how to structure your responses in an academic format. For essays, that means dividing the response in clear paragraphs. Have a clear introduction, have a clear conclusion, and so on. For spoken responses again, it means having a clear beginning and a clear end. Don't be random. If you take care of this one thing, your score will jump automatically. Number 13. Don't be casual. Use academic language. This is related to the last point. Don't be casual. Don't use casual language words and certainly do not use slang. Don't say gonna. Don't even say going to. Instead, be formal and academic and say it will result in or it leads to. When you sign up with a program such as RISE PTE, you get to see very high quality responses. They are the best way to learn what kind of language to use. Number 14. Set your own time limit. Decide it before exam. In the speaking section for each question, you have a certain time limit. You can't record more than that. But for most other questions, you need to be mindful of the time you have to give your answer. In writing, you will get some 20 minutes for an essay and 10 minutes for a summary. But you need to figure out how to use this time. How many minutes to spend on writing the first draft? How many minutes to give for a review at the end? In the reading and listening sections, it is even more important because all you have is one overall time limit. If you are not careful, you can end up missing some questions. So how do you know how much time to spend on each question? Well, you need to do practice for that. When you practice, you will come to know which questions are easy for you and which questions are difficult for you. Then you can divide your time accordingly. For example, I'm not going to spend more than 2 minutes on one reorder paragraph question. All right? Let's look at the next one. Don't ignore the logic. It should all make sense. Never forget this simple rule. It should all be logical. Whether you are writing or you are speaking or selecting an option in multiple choice or picking a word for your fill in the blanks, it should always lead to a logical answer. If an option is absurd, it will never be the correct option even if it matches some part of the text. If the word in the blank doesn't fit in with the overall logic of the text, it will never be the correct word for that blank. Similarly, when you are giving a spoken response, if it is something random that you are speaking because someone has told you it is okay to say anything, then it is the wrong answer. So always check and make sure that your answer is logical. Number 16. Sure short way of improving your written responses. Review in the end. I can guarantee you this. If you learn how to do a systematic review, you will always find something to improve in your written response. This is a short way of improving your score. In the RISE PTE program, we teach our students how to do a review in the end. Always leave a couple of minutes in the end for a review. When you review, you can improve your grammar, your choice of words. Make sure you have used the right structure and not missed any important point. 17. Focus on the right thing. Don't memorize words. A lot of people, when they are doing questions that have an audio, try to memorize words. The problem with this approach is that you end up remembering a few words, but you don't remember the relation between them. So you are left with an incomplete picture. Instead, try to memorize parts of a sentence, or in other words, a group of words. Ideally, you should try to understand everything, but if you don't feel confident, try to memorize words in groups. For example, in a sentence like, the problem of pollution has become a serious concern for most developing countries. Don't try to remember the problem pollution become serious as separate and individual words. Instead, try to make a note of problem of pollution, serious concern, developing countries. This way, in the end, you will have something that is much more logical and easy to understand. Number 18. Simple technique to remember. Learn to visualize. This is a very useful tip. Learn to visualize. When you are listening to an audio, with each word, try to fill a picture in your mind. By the end of the audio, you will almost have a scene in your mind that will tell the whole story. This is so much better than trying to remember words or just trying to memorize the whole thing. Then, when you answer a question based on that audio, you simply have to look at the picture and you will know the answer right away. So, always aim to understand what you are hearing. And to do that, learn how to visualize. Number 19. Do it right. Stay away from junk materials. A simple tip. Pick your practice materials with care. A lot of so-called recent questions or predictions or practice question videos on YouTube are nothing but junk. They do not meet the requirements and standards of Pearson for PTE. If you practice with these questions, you might get a false impression that PTE is either too easy or too difficult. It wouldn't help you learn and practice what you need. So be careful before you go ahead and spend hours watching random PTE videos on YouTube. Number 20. Put your best foot forward. Add diversity to your language. Show different sentence structures. Show a better choice of words. Avoid repetition. If you are referring to the same issue or thing in an answer, see if you can use different words each time, or see if you can replace one word with another. Similarly, don't use all short sentences. Try to throw in some complex sentences every now and then. Remember, you only need to convince the computer that your language skills are great. And this is a sure way of doing that. Let's look at the last one. Number 21. Learn when to use templates. Learn how to use templates. Templates are tempting. Someone tells you, just remember this and fit your question into this, and that's all you need for a high score. This is so wrong. If you are aiming for a high score, you can't get it with just a random template. Ideally, you should be able to write the whole answer or speak the whole answer by yourself. But if that is not possible, you must use the right template for the right question. For example, there are many types of essay questions. If you use just one template everywhere without even understanding the question, your score will be very low. That is why in the RISE PTE program, we provide multiple templates for each type of essay question that can come in the exam. Similarly, you must also learn what is the right way of plugging your question into the template. Often, I have seen people fit their question as it is in a template and it ends up being wrong, not just grammatically, but doesn't even make logical sense. We need to avoid that. Alright, that was a long lesson. I hope you will pay attention to the tips and tricks that I have discussed in this lesson and use them in your exam. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment please. Also, create a free account on RISE PTE website to start your preparation on the right note. All the very best.